do a little walking along video. I haven't done one of these for ages, so I've really not been keeping up with doing my daily videos. And I do want to get back to kind of checking in with you guys every day, documenting my kind of journey on ADHD medication. Because I got quite a lot out of it. I don't know if I'm sort of shouting into the void here or not, but yeah, it's been a wild ride. So I've been on ADHD medication since July last year, and I'm now on the kind of the highest dose of Elvance, so 70 milligrams. And I cannot begin to tell you how much my life has changed since my diagnosis, since making the changes that I needed to my life, and then since being on medication. So I had a bit of a wobble earlier this week and last week because I was basically being discharged from the private service back into the NHS, and sort of admin and red tape and everything meant that I was left with less than a week of medication and no prescription coming. So I was in a little bit of a panic state. So I had one day off of the meds, trying to kind of stockpile them, and then realised that I had some of the lower doses still in the cupboard. So I had a couple of days where I took 50 mils instead of the 70 milligrams or whatever it is. And oh my God, the difference. Just my mood tanked, my ability to focus and to kind of, I don't know, I stopped feeling positive about the future. I started spiraling back into that kind of, oh my God, I'm so useless, why can't I get my shit together? And even though it was only a couple of days, I thought, oh God, I don't want to go back there. So then I started thinking, because I'm back on my normal dose now, and then I started thinking, I'm now trapped on this medication for the rest of my life, and does that make me a little bit of a failed human if I can only function in the real world on medication? And then I thought, well, actually, if I was an insulin-dependent diabetic who had to take insulin every day, I wouldn't feel like a failed person. I would just feel like somebody who was lucky enough to live in an era where we have medication available for these things. So I'm trying to reframe it like that. But so on my journey of the last 6 months, the things that I've done outside of medication to kind of supercharge my life, so I just sort of wanted to talk about them. So three main things. So sobriety is the big one, exercise, in fact they're all three big ones: sobriety, exercise, but also decluttering. So obviously sobriety and exercise kind of speak to themselves, but decluttering, I just wanted to dig into that a little bit. So I talk about decluttering a fair bit. Women are particularly affected by clutter. Lots and lots of studies that show that women's brains react to visual clutter in a very different way to men's brains, okay, for all sorts of reasons. So because the housework load disproportionately falls to women as well, this all kind of plays in, and clutter begets clutter. ADHD brains are very, very susceptible to creating clutter because we tidy things up into piles, and the piles become bigger piles, and on it goes and on it goes. So physical clutter in my house, decluttering that has been an absolute game changer for me. I've done a lot over the last 6 months, probably about the last year actually, of getting rid of things that we don't need in the house, creating systems. Oh, interrupted by a phone call there. So creating systems to deal with things in my house. Having fewer things has been an absolute game changer for me. Okay, so there's an ADHD tax that happens where I shove things into cupboards and forget they exist, and then years or months later I need to buy that very specific thing, or I need to use that very specific thing, and I just have no awareness that I already own it, so I go and buy one. That has cost me a lot of money over the years, particularly cleaning products, but other things, like things that we only use once a year. Goggles, oh my God, the amount of pairs of goggles that I bought for the kids for holidays, things like that then I find hundreds of pairs of goggles, maybe not hundreds, tucked away in cupboards. Anyway, so decluttering and having things readily seeable in my house makes it much less likely that I forget that I own things. But also decluttering in a little bit more of a macro sense. So decluttering my mind, decluttering my responsibilities, decluttering my text messages and emails. I've fallen off the wagon with that a little bit. I think I'm back up to another 20,000 unread emails. But anything that is overwhelming quickly becomes something that your brain just goes, nope, I'm not going to deal with it at all. So the key to feeling less overwhelmed and being able to keep on top of your shit is just to have less stuff in the first place. So I have organised my life now in a way that my days are much less cluttered. I get up, I go to the gym, I come home, I clean the kitchen, I take the dogs out, I get William up and out to school, I go and teach a class, I come home. Like, my days are very free of clutter and busyness and responsibility. And I know that not everyone watching this video will be able to remove as much friction from their days as I have been able to, because, you know, we all have to work, we all have to make a living. But whatever you can do to declutter the demands on you, the demands on your time, the better. And we are really, really good as ADHDers at overcommitting. So the more you can streamline your responsibilities and the demands on you throughout the day, the less overwhelmed you're going to feel. And it sounds obvious, but you can group things together as well. So if you get up in the morning and you think about all the things that you've got to do in a day, something that happens with ADHD brains more than neurotypical brains is that we split those things up into a million little tiny tasks. So I've said this before, but cleaning the kitchen becomes like, you have to walk into the kitchen, you have to open the dishwasher, you have to empty the dishwasher, you have to restack the dishwasher, you then have to fill the washing up bowl with water, you then have to put washing up liquid in it. Like, it's not just clean the kitchen, it's a million tiny tasks. And actually you can declutter your brain quite a lot by chunking those tasks together, reminding yourself that actually cleaning the kitchen is a 6-minute one and done chore, and not an hour and a half, do all the things, a million different tiny components to it kind of thing. So just put them back in the house now. So decluttering your possessions, decluttering your responsibilities, decluttering your brain. So are there things that you are carrying through life with you? Things that you ruminate on, things that you obsess about, hurts and offences that you are unable to let go of. These are taking up space in your brain. So, oh, there's Stargate in the background, by the way. I'm working my way through Stargate. So the more you can declutter these thoughts that keep coming up for you through therapy or through talking it out or through writing them out, the more space you'll have in your brain for the things that you need to do, the things that you want to do. So yeah, decluttering is one of the most important skills, most important things that you can do if you are somebody with ADHD. And so whether we're talking about decluttering your physical environment, which is very, very important, or decluttering your to-do list on a daily basis, decluttering your brain and the things that pull your focus and draw your brain, all of these things are all part of the big steps that I've taken that have made massive, massive changes in my life. Lots and lots of small steps that add up to really big steps. So yeah, so for me, medication, absolute game changer, would not want to be without it now. But in conjunction with completely removing alcohol from my life, it's been 3 years now, never looked back. Exercise, which I'll do another video on exercise and the benefits of it for particularly for women with ADHD. It's just changed my life in so many ways. And then really importantly, and one that we might not think of so much, is decluttering everything: your brain, your responsibilities, your home, your surroundings. Yeah, I could talk for hours on this, so I hope that helps. I'll have to splice this together because I kept being interrupted. I look very windswept, but I'm just going to post it anyway.